Welcome to Throwback Thursday. One of the main issues we focused in on is truancy. We focused in on the 6 causes. We focused in on truancy court, the cause of truancy, parents being arrested. But what we haven't focused on is when kids are being thrown in jail. I know it may seem harsh, but back in 2003, Texas was one of the strict states that had truancy laws, to where if the kids don't go to school, the parents go to jail, and especially the kids, ankle bracelets and jail time. I want to show you a couple videos about this, starting off with 10 years ago. This Texas honor student gets jail time for her truancy. You won't believe what happens next. Take a look.
A Willis High School student is learning a tough lesson about skipping school, but it's because she's having a tough time.
She is. Sherry Williams is live in Conroe with the story that the student is telling us. Sherry?
Hey, Lynn and Greg. Yeah, her name is Diane Tran. She says she loves school. She hates missing school, but the problem is she's exhausted. She misses a lot of days, so last night she spent the night here in the Montgomery County Jail after the judge threw her in there for excessive truancy. 17-year-old Diane Tran has a heavy load at Willis High.
Dual credit U.S. history, dual credit English literature, college algebra, Spanish literature AP.
And she has a heavy load in life since her parents divorced and moved away, leaving her to help provide for a brother at Texas A&M and a little sister with relatives in Houston.
I always thought our family was happy. So
we're just trying to make a living and dime.com in the middle of it.
After a judge warned her in April to stop missing so much school, Tran recently missed again. She works part-time at a wedding venue and full-time at a dry cleaner's.
And she goes from job to job, from school. She stays up till 7 o'clock in the morning doing her homework.
But the judge says the case is bigger than Tran.
People there, and if you let one of them run loose, what are you going to do with the rest of them? Let them go too? A little stay in the jail for one night is not death sentence.
We explained the particulars of Tran's situation to him.
So, Judge, do you think it's a case for a little bit of justice tempered with mercy?
Probably so, yes, ma'am.
Can anything be done to revoke this?
Yeah, it probably could.
Will you?
I hadn't thought on that issue because it turns me really soft.
Kids are kids. And if they're kind of by themselves, then, help them. Don't harm them.
Now, frankly, our hearts go out to this 11th grade student, so we talked to that judge some more. He said he would think about Diane Tran's case just a little bit more. If he does not, then she will have a record, and that concerns her mightily. Reporting live from Montgomery County, Sherry Williams, KHOU 11 News.
Nobody should have that happen. First off, if you decide to just throw a person in jail because of truancy, throwing them in jail is not helping. If parents are divorced, the judge won't even buy it. Where's your parents? They're divorced. In one case here, this person right here, Laura Foster, her parents divorced. That's why she skipped a lot of class, not just because she was bullied. Non-profit organizations can help. Like I said before, first offense is truancy, then it goes to bigger things like shoplifting, assault, and stealing. Take a look at this next one.
New at 6 tonight, a Montgomery County judge started throwing the book at students who skipped school today, saying that they're causing all kinds of crime in the neighborhoods. So instead of giving out warnings, he started locking them up. Local 2 investigator Stephen Dean was the only reporter in that courtroom today, and he's joining us live with a story you'll see only on Local 2. Stephen?
Well, Dominique, the judge made an example out of a whole lot of teenagers and one mother today in this courtroom. He says when kids are skipping school, they're not home watching TV. They're breaking into houses, breaking into cars, using drugs. That's what he says. So today, more than a dozen of those kids came to court for their truancy. They expected a slap on the wrist, and that is not what they got. One by one, students came up to face the judge, and they got quite a shock. When the handcuffs went on, they left for a 3-day sentence in the Montgomery County Jail. Like 18-year-old Tony Aparicio, the judge said he'd gotten several breaks for his truancy, so today the breaks stopped.
It is the last straw when you send them to jail.
Montgomery County Precinct 4 Justice of the Peace James Metz called this whole courtroom full of school skippers and their parents to court today, ready to hold them in contempt. Most are like 17-year-old Jessica Cervantes with stacks of past truancy citations, ordered to stop skipping school the last time she came to court, but 11 more absences mean she's now an inmate of an adult lockup.
It's not what I want, but I feel I'm forced to that sometimes. That's what's going to happen to them if they continue with that lifestyle.
There were some happy endings, though, on several kids as they stepped forward and proved they had turned it all around since their other court dates. The judge told the applauding courtroom they turned it around, so you can too. The judge also threatened several parents with going to jail if they don't get their kids to go back to school. Only one mother actually went to jail today, and that's because she presented a forged document to the judge. It was a doctor's note. The judge said it was altered, so she went to jail along with her 14-year-old daughter. And 2 area school districts up here say that the judge's effort is actually boosting their attendance throughout this area. We're live in New Caney, Montgomery County. Stephen Dean, KPRC Local 2.
Good work.
That's great work right there. And common sense needs to tell you to stay in school. It's not what the judge wants, but the judge is forced to. So always remind her to stay in school. It's good for you. Like vegetables. Vegetables and fruit are good for you. Stay in school, no matter what. Coming up next, we are continuing our Throwback Thursday into restaurants that don't succeed, meaning restaurants that have the lowest health inspection, the lowest grade ever. Lee Thompson has that. Then a bit later, a story that shocked me. These people at Denny's were angry when a reporter came in asking about inspection, but it led to fights of profanity. We'll be right back. Stay with us. A few weeks ago, we did a Throwback Thursday about food safety. Restaurants that have the lowest health inspection and don't do a damn thing. Focused on fast foods. This time, however, we're doing it with sit-down restaurants like Chili's, IHOP, Applebee's, to name a few. Each year, 30 million of us, millions of us, will have some foodborne illness from restaurant food. How can your restaurant be safe? You're about to see the results of the restaurants that have the highest health inspection and the lowest health inspection. Here's Lee Thompson.
Are we all ready to order? I'm going to have salad.
You have some chicken?
I think I'll just take the Creole catch.
When Americans go out to grab a bite to eat these days, they're often looking for more than just fast food. They want their baby back ribs, a sizzling steak, spicy Mexican food, or the catch of the day. And they find them at places like Applebee's, Outback, Denny's, or Red Lobster. Business is booming. Casual and family dining chains like these dominate the $440 billion restaurant industry. They offer sit-down service with tasty food and reasonable prices.
Table 6 and it may go.
But how do they rate on cleanliness and food handling safety? We decided to find out, just like we checked fast food chains last fall. Dateline's Dirty Dining survey on the fast food giants found serious health code violations in 60% of the restaurants we examined.
Thank you.
Tonight, we'll rank the largest casual and family dining restaurants. It's a top 10 countdown that will tell you how good a job your favorite chain is doing keeping its restaurants clean. Of course, millions of meals are served safely in these restaurants every day. Steve Grover of the National Restaurant Association says that's the industry's top priority.
Food safety is non-negotiable. It's the basis of the operation. You cannot make a profit
if you don't take care of food safety first.
There you go, guys.
But with hundreds of locations, thousands of employees, and all that food to prepare,
I'm looking for a side veggie in the window.
food handling mistakes can be made. Mistakes that sometimes make people very, very sick.
I felt like I'd been hit by a bus. Every muscle and bone in my body hurt.
Jennifer Lusso was hospitalized for 5 days, sick for months. For Jennifer and these other unlucky diners, a bad meal led to much more than a night of discomfort. Their foodborne illness was serious and severe. They had salmonella poisoning.
I ended up in a fetal position, just shaking uncontrollably.
Kim Field says she could barely walk.
It had actually gone as far as to attack my gallbladder.
Joe Favia, a decorated cop, was forced off the beat and into his bed.
I was completely knocked out. I mean, I spent the first 3 days in the bathroom.
Matt and Ann Miller almost had to cancel their wedding.
I remember just laying in bed, like, hoping that the pain would go away because it was just so severe.
At this point, you're just a couple of days before getting married.
2 days.
They all ate at this Chili's in Vernon Hills, Illinois during a 3-day period in June 2003. What they didn't know was the water heater had broken down, so there was no hot water for employees to clean the tables, wash the dishes, or even wash their hands.
There's no hot water. I mean, common sense tells me, close it down.
But Chili's kept on serving meals. 300 people were sickened. 149 of them were confirmed victims of salmonella poisoning. A health department investigation found the bacteria spread like wildfire when sick employees handled food after going to the bathroom.
So we literally ate food that was contaminated with human feces.
When you heard the bottom line of the health department's report, tell us what went through your mind.
We were outraged. We couldn't believe it.
I felt sick all over again.
Disgusted, violated, disappointed.
Couldn't understand how a restaurant could do that to their customers.
All of these people sued. That Chili's has gone out of business. Brinker's, the parent company of Chili's, paid a settlement, although it admitted no wrongdoing.
It's the last thing in the world you ever think about when you take your family out for dinner. That you're going to walk out and you're going to be sick.
While serious salmonella outbreaks like the one at that Chili's are rare, the federal government Centers for Disease Control says about 1 in 4 Americans suffer from some type of foodborne illness every year. Most of the time, people don't get as sick as they did in Illinois. Usually it's just a day or two of discomfort. The CDC estimates, though, that just under half of all the food-related illnesses in the country come from restaurant food. So if you're going to dine out, you really do need to know if your restaurant is clean and safe. Finding out which restaurants are clean and safe and which are not is the job of state and local health inspectors like Dave Jefferson of Tarrant County, Texas.
Dave Jefferson, thank you.
He and others like him are the public's first line of defense when it comes to restaurant food safety, and their inspection results are available to the public.
Let's start with the bar.
Jefferson let us come along as he inspected some restaurants near the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. He inspects every nook and cranny of this Red Lobster, but is primarily concerned with what inspectors call critical violations.
Critical violations are those things that have the greatest potential for causing a foodborne illness, especially the things such as temperature abuse of the food or hand washing.
While there are no mandatory federal standards for food handling, Jefferson says critical violations are the industry benchmark for restaurant cleanliness.
Hey, the inside of your ice machine is very clean.
He makes sure the food is kept at the correct temperature.
Well, so far everything looks good.
Checks to see if the dishwasher is sanitizing.
Can I get someone to run it through a cycle for me?
Spots a spill on the floor.
Somebody needs to come in here and do a little cleaning up under there. A little splash problem, nothing major.
He even checks outside.
Have any problems with rodents or anything? You get a new cap put on there. It's all in bags, great.
The verdict for this Red Lobster?
Overall, found no real food safety problems. So it's a really good inspection. Well, thank you.
Next stop, Chili's. The manager asks us to wait outside while Jefferson does his inspection. This Chili's does very well, but Jefferson finds one problem.
The equipment just wasn't getting fully cleaned. It may have had so much food debris when it went into the dishwasher couldn't knock it all off, but there were some little bits of lettuce and things still stuck to some of the equipment.
And so it goes, all over the country, every day. Hundreds of inspectors like Dave Jefferson file reports on restaurant operations. So Dateline decided to use those health inspection reports to organize the first ever national survey of the largest casual and family restaurants. First, we picked the top 10 chains, the ones with the most locations around the country. They account for more than 10,000 restaurants. We couldn't look at every location, but we wanted a nationwide sample. We hired a survey consulting firm to choose 1,000 restaurants from all 50 states in the District of Columbia, 100 restaurants from each chain. Then we contacted local health departments and requested the inspection reports for those 1,000 restaurants. And as you can see, we got a lot more than we bargained for. We ended up with more than 3,000 inspection reports. We wanted to see a restaurant's track record, so we looked at a recent 15-month period. Some restaurants were inspected just once, others more often. Boy, some of these are hard to read. Some restaurants are franchise-owned, others are owned by the parent corporation. Either way, the corporations tell us they take responsibility for restaurant safety.
Roaches crawling on roofs and also walls.
We discovered inspection standards vary across the country, so to level the playing field, we only counted critical violations. Violations inspectors everywhere say can make you sick. It took months to pull it all together. Then we crunched the numbers and grabbed our hidden cameras. Tonight we can report for the first time what these inspections say about the top family dining chains. When we come back, the Dateline Dirty Dining Rankings.
The rankings begin. When we come back, we're gonna show you the ones that are clean and the dirty. It's another case of dirty dining you don't want to miss on Throwback Thursday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So, from Chili's to Applebee's, IHOP, and Outback, how does your favorite sit-down restaurant do? You're about to find out as Dateline looks at the dirty dining from the top 10 restaurants from clean to dirty with critical violations. And let me tell you, as a fast food employee, I damn well know about critical violations. Once again, Lee Thompson.
Dateline took our hidden cameras along when we dined at the nation's largest casual and family dining chains. We found many clean, well-run restaurants. But we also found some dirty, unappetizing scenes, like this IHOP. A drain in the dining room got plugged with grease and had to be unplugged while people were trying to eat lunch. Health inspectors who are in restaurants every day see even more. At a Chili's in Walnut Creek, California, a customer discovered a bloody Band-Aid in a quesadilla. At a TGI Fridays in New Orleans, a customer saw a rodent run across the dining room. An inspector wrote the restaurant had been rat-infested for months. At an Outback in Suffern, New York, a diner found a dead fly in his salad. The horror stories are stomach-turning, but rare. To get the big picture, we collected thousands of city and county health reports. Reports for 100 restaurants of each of the top 10 family dining chains. Inspection standards can vary across the country, so we only counted critical violations. As we said, those are violations inspectors say can make you sick. And tonight, in a first-of-its-kind survey of casual and family dining restaurants, Dateline will use those health reports to tell you which chain does the best job of keeping it clean. From the restaurant chain with the fewest violations to the one with the most. Here's Dateline's Dirty Dining Rankings. This is a top 10 list where no restaurant wants to be number 1. At number 10...
Want a good place to sit and eat? Go to Denny's.
Denny's had 296 critical violations in 100 restaurants. The restaurant that made the Grand Slam breakfast famous had the fewest critical violations of any restaurant in our survey. Denny's are often open 24/7. That can make it hard to keep up with the cleaning, but this chain usually seems to get it done. At number 9,
come to Bob Evans.
Bob Evans totaled 315 critical violations in its 100 surveyed restaurants, the second fewest violations in our survey. Bob Evans had trouble with improper food holding temperatures. That was the most cited critical violation in our survey. Health Inspector Dave Jefferson.
You keep the hot foods hot and the cold foods cold. In that zone in between, the more bacteria there is in the food, the more likely it is somebody's going to get sick.
Moving on, counting down to number 8.
With all the new lobster dishes at Red Lobster.
Red Lobster totaled 350 critical violations. Inspector Dave Jefferson gave this location in Texas high marks for its food safety procedures used in all the Red Lobster stores. But the chain did get hit with 43 holding temperature violations and 42 hand washing citations in other restaurants across the country. With more critical violations than Red Lobster at number 7.
Welcome to Chili's.
Chili's, 402 critical violations. 31 citations for hand washing violations. Chili's also had 57 violations for cross-contamination. What's cross-contamination?
Touching or handling raw foods and vegetables, and then turning right around and touching or handling cooked foods and vegetables.
Up next, number 6. We went down under.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
The blokes from Outback totaled 418 critical violations. And again, we found more hand washing problems. Outback was cited 59 times for that. As Inspector Jefferson bluntly reminds us,
hand washing is important because toilet paper isn't foolproof.
Coming in at number 5, we're back in the neighborhood. Applebee's restaurants have 446 critical violations. Again, the biggest safety issue, holding temperatures. Ironically, Applebee's could have ranked with the best in our survey, but a half dozen bad apples racked up a significant number of the chain's violations. Applebee's did do well preventing cross-contamination of raw meats. It uses separate cutting boards and utensils for beef and chicken.
So raw chicken would always be picked up with the yellow tong. Raw beef would always be picked up with the red tongs.
And the violations continue to climb as we move to number 4.
Now at TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays totals 490 critical violations. Our data shows Fridays had trouble with hand washing, holding temperatures, and mold and grime buildup. With the critical violations piling up now, here's a trio of chains that topped 500. Number 3.
IHOP, come hungry, leave happy.
The International House of Pancakes, 513 violations. 117 for improper food holding temperatures, 77 for cross-contamination, 20 for the presence of vermin.
Rodents, cockroaches, flies, what have you, these creatures may be getting into the food products, which are then presented to the public. That's a real problem.
Many IHOPs, like this one in Arlington, Virginia, are open 24 hours a day. This location alone had 38 critical violations. There were dirty utensils, a lack of sanitized dishwashing, dirty floors, and nasty bathrooms. Number 2 in our Dirty Dining Survey.
Ruby Tuesday, good where it counts.
Cajun Style Ruby Tuesday racked up 514 critical violations, one more than IHOP. Holding temperature violations and 45 violations for improper storage of chemicals like cleaning agents and bleach.
If it spills in the food or spills into a food container, there's going to be a serious problem later on.
And who is number 1 in Dateline's Dirty Dining Survey? Waffle House. 594 critical violations for the 24/7 family restaurant. That's 80 more than the number 2 finisher. A visit to this Waffle House in Virginia shows only some of the problems we found. Watch as this cook handles raw bacon with his bare hands then makes toast. Let's hope his hands are clean. There's grease, grime, and plenty of flies all around. This Waffle House alone totaled 36 critical violations.
Of course, when you do such a large survey, there are many ways to crunch the numbers. So we wondered, since some chains, such as Waffle House, were inspected more often than others, what would happen if we ranked the chains according to average violations per inspection?
Well, let's take a look. Here again are the Dirty Dining rankings based on total critical violations, with Denny's at number 10, the fewest violations, and Waffle House at number 1 with the most. Now, look what happens when you do average violations per inspection. TGI Fridays becomes number 1 with the highest number of violations per inspection. Waffle House and Ruby Tuesday do better. But statistically, it's a dead heat among the 5 restaurants with the highest average number of violations.
But no matter how you calculate, 82% of all restaurants in our survey had at least one critical violation. Only 18% stayed violation-free.
Steve Grover is the vice president of the National Restaurant Association. Grover is a former health inspector himself.
Every chain except one averaged a critical violation on every single inspection. Are you surprised by that?
I'm surprised, but I think the important thing here is to focus not just on the process, but the outcome. Were those violations corrected?
If you look at our survey over a 15-month period, it appears many of these restaurants are not correcting the problem.
Well, and I think that's a problem.
Are these casual and family restaurant chains paying enough attention to health inspection reports?
The ones that I deal with, absolutely they are. I do believe that there are still problems, and we will continue to work on it.
In letters to Dateline, all of the chains said they were committed to food safety. Most have outside firms do unannounced inspections, and all of the chains train managers in food handling. Waffle House said, obviously, we are disappointed with the results of your survey, and we regret the findings of any health code violation in our restaurants. Bob Evans also said he was disappointed in the findings and believes that any critical violation is one too many. Ruby Tuesday said its CEO reviews every significant violation weekly. At Applebee's, compensation at the chain is now directly tied to improvement in food safety scores. Outback, we consider local health department inspectors to be our partners in food safety and have always worked with them in this spirit. And finally, Chili's. We deeply regret the isolated salmonella incident in June 2003. We sincerely apologize, and we've worked to make amends. We have taken additional definitive steps that go above and beyond regulator requirements. One thing Grover says would be helpful for restaurants and the public would be to standardize health regulations around the country.
There's no consistent reporting. There's no consistent inspections. There's no consistent code.
And restaurants themselves, he says, need to be more consistent about doing things right.
In food safety, our job is never done.
Curious about how restaurant chains did in your town? Some local health departments post their inspection reports online. Others provide the information only if you call to request a specific report. For more on all of this, log on to our website at dateline.msnbc.com. You'll also find the complete statements from all of the restaurant chains we surveyed.
So that's common sense for most people to understand. So if you got questions, just call your local health inspector, look at the inspections, and they'll let you know. They post them online, you can look them up online, so that will help out. You may remember last season we focused in on Denny's acting wild. Up next, we're gonna relook at that from a common sense perspective and explain what needs to happen and not happen. Please stay with us. Last season, we focused in on a Denny's health inspection that led to using profanity and being assaulted. It was a news crew, CBS 46, that led to Adam Murphy and the camera crew being attacked. Attacked. Normally, when you ask to see the health inspection reports, they just show it to you. Or when you complain to them and say, thank you for addressing this to us. We will take care of this for you right away. I'll just laugh at you, probably. But as someone who works in the fast food industry for 5 years, I can tell you that if something like that were to happen, I would jump on. I would probably be jumped. Here's Adam Murphy.
I've been questioning local restaurant managers about critical health violations for more than a decade. But this week, I encountered something I've never experienced before. A violent confrontation with employees at a local diner. And it was all caught on camera.
You can get up, okay?
Can we ask you, ma'am, about this? Expired deli meat stored in the cooler for customers? Were you serving expired deli meat? Ma'am, don't touch the camera.
Don't put the camera in my face.
Hey, we need to ask
you
about
need
these
to be in my face.
violations.
It's not uncommon to get the cold shoulder when questioning a restaurant about a failing inspection. Denny's on Panola Road in Lithonia scored 52 points in a U for unsatisfactory. The health inspector busted them for expired deli meat, flying insects, and raw eggs on bacon and cheese. But these violations pale in comparison to this violation of civility.
You don't have to put the camera on nobody. Y'all can get out of here with that. Y'all can go ahead.
So we're not going to discuss it.
It ain't had to be in the building.
So, whoa.
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
Hey, the news is walking in. Come on now. Guys. Bye. Wow. Bye. So this is how you respond to violations.
It's not the treatment even a news crew would expect from a place that calls itself America's Diner. And here's one of their employees.
My son right here, if you film me with that camera, I'm gonna knock your ass out. And I promise you that. My son right here, son, don't do that. Cause I'll knock your ass out.
That's assault right there.
My son right here, you.
Is that how you talk? Is that how you're talking for your son?
If only their kitchen was as hot as the employees, perhaps none of this would have happened.
What's your business here?
You want to talk to us
Do
about
you
this
have rights to record us?
Yes, we do.
Why? What are your rights?
You have a failing health inspection.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the failing
You
health
know the
inspection?
failing health inspection is up.
Hey, that's assault. That's a charge. You don't care? We're not touching you.
Moments later, DeKalb County Police showed up at Denny's, but not for their Grand Slam breakfast.
Y'all good.
Officers confirmed we were well within our rights to question the restaurant, and we were not the ones in the wrong.
I received a statement from Denny's corporate office regarding the incident. They said, quote, "We are disappointed by the inappropriate and unacceptable behavior by employees." They also said, quote, "We have spoken to the franchisee at this location and he has taken immediate action to ensure the restaurant meets our high brand standards and has taken appropriate action with employees." If you'd like to read the full statement, you can see it online. Go to the CBS 46 app. Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
Now that was 4 years ago. And 4 years later, common sense alert. Are you insane? Freaking attacking news reporters like that? That's assault. And they let them go, "I don't care." And this young lady cursing in front of her child. "My son, you get that, I will knock you on your ass. Get that fucking camera out of my face." Every journalist who has a video camera has a right to record audio and video. That's the person's job. The camera crew is there to record video and audio. They're in the wrong by presenting health inspection. Raw eggs and bacon and cheese, insects, so and so. But after 6 years of doing this broadcast, I have never encountered something like this. And people are being attacked. But there's more to this. Watch. Because after 6 years of doing this, we never encounter unfocused health inspections. So what does that tell you? Take a look.
Expired deli meat? Ma'am, don't touch the camera. No. Serving expired deli meat? Ma'am, don't touch the camera.
Don't put the camera in my face.
Hey.
Don't do that. Cause I'll knock your ass out.
Hey, that's assault right there.
I
hard to forget. Wild moments. Denny's employees going after one of our reporters just trying to do his job. And tonight, that DeKalb County restaurant is now closed. CBS 46's Adam Murphy is live where he and the photographer got into an altercation with employees. Adam, that video, it went viral.
Sean, it is. It's video that definitely went viral after I first exposed health problems identified by the DeKalb County Health Department here at this now abandoned Denny's restaurant in Lithonia. Just off Manola Road at Snapfinger Woods Drive. This group of guys loaded up dirty restaurant equipment at the Denny's.
Grease is like, I'll give you, it's like an inch thick, and it's like rock solid.
And hauled it off after the business shut down in the snap of a finger.
We were just talking about the news and like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're here. Hey, look at that. So.
Back where it all began. 7 months ago.
Y'all can go ahead.
So we're not going to discuss it.
They're not supposed to be in the building.
So whoa.
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
Hey, a routine visit that turned out to be anything but.
Don't do that. Cause I'll knock your ass out.
That's assault right there.
I don't give a my son right here.
When we questioned management about a failing health inspection.
The health department definitely got it right on this one.
Yeah, big bad. For it to get like this, it has to be sitting there for a while. This is pretty bad. Yeah. Shouldn't be allowed to eat here.
It's no longer a health hazard for those dining in DeKalb, since this issue is now gone.
So we picked up equipment from them like a month ago, and we had other things, and they were pretty bad too, but this is just a little bit of what we've gotten from them.
Now, I contacted a representative for Denny's corporate office, and they told me the franchisee closed this restaurant for financial reasons, and they have no information on plans for the future. Live in Lithonia tonight, Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News. Can you come out and talk to us?
Put the cameras away.
Can you come and talk to us about this?
Put the cameras away.
Did you get rid of the roaches?
Well, some tough questions this week for a local restaurant manager after the health department identified a pest problem in the restaurant's ice machine. Be sure to watch our exclusive restaurant report card tonight at 11.
So what does common sense tell you? You don't act like that. For you guys watching that 4 years ago, you guys are the reasons why. Not just financial reasons. You guys that were fired right there, you caused this. One of you, get the camera out of my face. Get the camera out of my face. Get out of my face. Get the camera out of my face. Journalists are there to do their jobs. That is to report and expose. My job is to give common sense and facts. The facts are you are not trained to do so. You are employees. Every journalist has a right to record video and audio. They are well within their rights, and you hitting people, that's assault. And y'all want to sit there and go, I don't care. I don't care. You want to care if you sit in jail holding the bars like this? I don't care. I don't care. Are you freaking insane? I work at a fast food restaurant, and let me tell you, if I saw something like that happen, I definitely would want to run for the door. I definitely won't. I won't want to videotape this. I handle it myself. Break it up and say, hey, that's enough. Let them do their jobs. I don't care. They have rights. We all have rights. Try to understand. If you have failing health inspections, you need to make sure you set this right. Corporate comes in. District managers come in and help you. It doesn't take much to sit there and say, look, we have a failing health inspection. How can we fix it? That's one side we would do. The other side would just be like, we have a failing health inspection. We always have failing health inspection. I don't care. I've seen it all. And let me tell you something. I work at a fast food restaurant, and sometimes every month or year, we have health inspections. And we get A's, sometimes B's. But there's always a next time. We have to do better. So if you're working at a restaurant, whether it's Denny's or McDonald's or anywhere else, you as a management need to make sure that you set things right and say, look, we failed last time. We're not going to fail. We're not going to fail this time. What you need to do is to start understanding and start saying, hey, what we need to do here is we need to do better. Common sense can tell you to start cleaning, start detailing, and not acting all crazy when reporters come in. Kitchen cops on Channel 10 from Corpus Christi, they do a damn well job reporting this. I gotta give kudos to them. It takes a man, a real man, to stand up here and say, get it right and get it done. That's all the health inspection we have. So next time we'll look at more health inspections from Brian Murphy. Coming up, a superintendent who had a relationship now has a raise years ago, and now parents in the community say he should have been fired, and call for the resignation of a president who supported that relationship with an attorney. Stay with us. Years ago, we talked about superintendents making high raises. I played a reaction to a story about a superintendent who had a bigger salary, and what happened led to a relationship with an attorney. It's like, come on, you don't do that. If you did, you'd probably get in trouble. It's like, what's going on? Take a look.
Just need some transparency, Lee Summit.
Tonight, the message from Lee Summit parents was loud and clear.
McGee and Harmon resign.
A message to the superintendent and the Board of Education. One man even decorated his car and shirt with.
Anybody that had anything to do with him renewing his contract needs to resign.
Many parents are fed up with Superintendent David McGee and the contract that made him the highest paid superintendent in Missouri. Parents wanted answers after the board supported the contract with no public input. Tonight, they got one.
The board voted to place Dr. David McGee on paid administrative leave effective immediately.
McGee now makes 6 times the salary of teachers in Lee Summit. It's a contract parents say is wrong.
Every dollar of that $100,000 contract increase took something from the children of Lee Summit.
Frustration was also targeted at board member Terry Harmon.
Ms. Harmon, you're an inept leader and must step down, not just step aside.
Harmon stepped down as president of the board today over criticism for supporting the superintendent's contract. After facing controversy for a relationship with an attorney employed by the school district, one man said McGee should leave.
He should have been fired!
A conflict still with an uncertain future. Parents hope it gets solved soon.
Now, we all know Dr. McGee was not available for comment tonight because he wasn't at the meeting here tonight. It's also unknown how long he will be on administrative leave. Reporting live in Lee Summit, I'm Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
Tom, thank you. McGee earns $304,000 per year, and compare that to the biggest school districts in the metro, and McGee makes more. The new superintendent over at Kansas City will earn $225,000. Blue Valley superintendent earns $230,000, and Shawnee Mission pays its superintendent $254,000.
Damn. You don't do that crap. You never do. Trying to understand here. Trying to convince an attorney that you're having a relationship, I want you to raise your salary, if you don't raise your salary, blah, 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 blah. No. Don't do that. You're taking every $100,000 you're taking away out of the children. It's for the children, not for the superintendent. I'm glad he resigned. After that meeting, he resigned. New superintendent came, and over the past decisions, this one here, take a look at his resignation here.
His
Superintendent David McGeehee is resigning after facing mounting backlash. Many parents were fed up due to his massive salary and a relationship with a lawyer doing work for the district. 41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey explains how parents are now reacting and what the school board is now doing to move forward. Tom.
Well, Mike, for quite some time, parents here in Lee Summit were calling on Dr. David McGeehee to step down. Some put signs like this one on their lawns across the area. Others protested outside the school district building that you can see behind me. This week, they finally got what they were looking for.
After months of protests from Lee Summit parents, Superintendent David McGeehee is stepping down, resigning at the end of June.
Relief that we can finally get started on finding the right person for the job.
McGeehee came under fire after a new contract was pushed through the school board behind closed doors. It made McGeehee the highest paid superintendent in all of Missouri, something that didn't sit well with many parents.
He should have been fired! We want to have better control over how our taxpayers' money is being spent.
McGeehee also faced criticism over a romantic relationship with a lawyer working for the school district. As part of a buyout agreement, McGeehee will get almost $500,000 over the next year.
The school board has a lot we have to, to do over the next few months, even year, as we transition.
McGeehee has not commented publicly on the issue, but moving forward, board member Bill Baird says the board will be more transparent.
Working together, we're collaborating. We've been through a lot over the last few months, and we're going to communicate more with the public.
Parents like Claudia Lindner hope Lee Summit is now heading in the right direction.
Change is good. Change will, it's going to happen. So hopefully we'll get changes for the better.
Now, we will note that buyout package for Dr. McGeehee was unanimously approved by the school board. Dr. Brent Blevins is now serving as interim superintendent. The new school year starts in 57 days here in Lee Summit, and the school board hopes to have a permanent replacement for superintendent before the start of the school year. Reporting live in Lee Summit, I'm Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
I'll be right back with a look at school boards like we've done for the past, especially one mother who 2 years ago was angry at the board for masks, for mask mandates. Stay with us. Years ago on the broadcast, we focused in on school board meetings that may have been heated. Take a look at this short one.
I'd like to see 4 things happen. I would like to see the board specifically admit that they've made an error and they've done something they shouldn't have. They do not need to disclose the students' names for their privacy to do that. To apologize for that error. To make a statement that they are going to aspire to no longer violate the Supreme Court decision or the constitutional rights of the parents or the children. And the person or people who made that decision should resign or be terminated effective immediately.
Now, this comes after. This is what happened. This was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Frank Horn was among 200 parents and gun right advocates who were angered over the discipline of 2 boys in Lacey Township High School after one posted a photo of them with guns in the local shooting range. Wow. But there is one that probably stunned me. I kept watching it over and over again and thinking, what the heck is going on here? One parent. This was a viral video that happened. Remember who demands the police remove for showing maskless photos. Take a look.
Thank you, Mr. Beard. Next up is Alicia Vaught, and on deck is Candy Beers.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Alicia Vaught. Senate Bill 739, as you guys probably know, is going to be signed into law very soon. So we're taking the power out of your hands and putting it back with the parents, the way it should be. And it's very concerning that you guys would take the power away from the parents. And Ms. Cass, let me just point out real fast, when you were introducing the public address comment, you said, this is the time we get to hear from the students, from the staff, and from the community members. You didn't mention parents, not one bit. And I think that's a big issue for Montgomery County, because you guys do not like the parents. That's how I feel. Because you're taking the choice away from the parents and you're trying to take it and put it into your hands for financial reasons. I don't know. You're taking it away from us, and we have parents' law. So I just wanted to point that out. We sat here last year and listened to you guys preach to us about Governor Northam's executive orders and how we must follow them. You guys remember that? We do. So here's the governor that comes into office, but yet you don't want to follow his orders. Why is that? Why is it different from the last year when we were here to this year? 2 different governors, 2 different political parties. So we were supposed to follow it last year, but not this year. That makes no sense. And it makes all of you a bunch of hypocrites, except for Dana and Jamie. Ms. Cass, you also yelled at me the last time I was here for taking off my mask, but here's a picture of you right here on Facebook with a crowd of people.
That's it.
With no mask on. This is my time, and I don't interrupt you. Here's another picture with you with a no mask on.
I'm sorry, Ms. Vaught, you are done. If you are going to sit there and disparage a member of our school board, then you can sit down. If you have something effective to say.
I have facts and truth on my side.
I am not going to sit here.
This isn't about you anymore. It's about
Can we have a police officer, please?
Really?
Yes. No, I'm not scared. I don't care. I would like you to either talk about something. You can talk about something that concerns our school board. Is there something about our students you would like to talk about? Then talk about our students.
You're taking up my time.
Can you please ask Ms. Vaught to leave? Thank you.
What, for speaking truth?
Ms. Vaught, let's let the rest of us talk.
Can I finish?
No.
So you are.
If you would like to finish about students, but if your idea is to stand there.
Huh?
He should be able to say her piece. I've had to listen to people come and criticize me.
People came here and criticized you last year?
Absolutely. And I couldn't do anything about it. And publicly I was humiliated.
So people came here and they talked about your mask to your face. They showed pictures of your family? They showed pictures of your
Yeah, they did worse.
You did.
That doesn't make it right.
No, it
That doesn't make it right, Jamie.
You're right, but I had to say.
That's my family. That is, then fine.
What do you think about our family?
I am not.
Our family is being suffocated today.
I'm done.
Policies.
Time is up.
What do you
She leaves or I leave.
Time is up.
I'm done.
You can't deal with the truth. You don't need to know.
It's not the truth, but that's not the issue.
We're coming for them. All of them. Except for Helen and Jamie. So with the rest of my time, I just want to say, parents and grandparents, if you guys want to run for office, if you want to run for a school board member seat, which we might have one vacant apparently, then come to the Second Monday Constitution group. They are offering 2 free trainings next month, March the 14th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the bowling alley in Christiansburg. One of the trainings is called How to Run for Office and Win. Another training is called Get to the Heart, How to Get Your Message Out. So these are 2 free trainings, again, at the Second Monday Constitution group in Christiansburg. You can look it up and join on Facebook. So we want to offer those services to anybody that wants to run, because these liberals are getting out of the school board. You guys have already just made the mama bears so mad now. But Dr. Meyer, I want to say something to you. In June of 2020, you remember when the liberals came to your office and they made that big list of demands, and you bowed down to them and you caved into them and you gave into their demands. And then you called every teacher in Montgomery County Public School System a racist. How did you do that? Because you mandated implicit bias training for each and every school teacher. Why? Because you got called out, so you wanted to drag all of them down with you. And that was the start of this whole thing of CRT, of why we teach our kids to hate themselves and their skin color. All of that started with you, Dr. Meyer. You're the one that started it all. So you need to take it all back out of the school. School is for education and not indoctrination. Our kids, they don't feel safe coming to school, and I don't feel safe sending them to school. And that's bad. That's really sad. Schools are for education and not to be your little political pawns and put face diapers on. You guys need to understand what you're here to do, and that is a job, to make policy for our students. And our kids' job is to learn, but that's not what they've been doing. But thank you for your time.
Well, looks like she did the right thing. Board members can take criticism. If you are a board member, you need to take criticism and not go, that's it, you're done. Officer, get her out of here. You need to take criticism. It's time you hear from the public. Public speaking means we got to hear from the public. Everybody has their own opinions. I mean, if you're going to go on and say, hey, don't be talking about my family, get out of here. Then they show pictures of you and your family, so-and-so, this and this, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Listen, I can take criticism. But obviously school members can't. You throw them under the bus and they may throw you under the bus. Superintendents may say, well, so-and-so this and this. The superintendent is the leader for our schools, making sure all the schools are safe. But when it comes to that, what you need to understand here is everybody can take criticism. And if you can't handle that, there's no reason for you to be a board member. Resign. Do whatever you want. That woman over there walked out. She's like, okay, either she leaves or I leave. She left. And there's no but. She did the right thing. She has her own opinions. Respect that. Maybe then you'll respect yours. Everyone, maybe then you'll listen. Coming up on Giving Back Friday, a story about Tourette's syndrome. Also, birthdays is coming up. We're going to tell you the do's and don'ts of what not to do. Plus, Sunrise Mall owners are given code violations. The old Sunrise Mall. So, yeah. That's cool. That's it for Throwback Thursday. We'll see you next time with Throwback Thursday, and we'll see you Giving Back Friday. For everyone here at YouTube, good night.